Ekabo, and welcome to another Ile Ijuba Ode Otun Friday live. And as usual, before I begin, I would open with the Iba. Opweni fun Olorun, Olodumare Oba Jiki, Mojiloni, Mowogun Meriaye, Iba Ila Orun, Iba Iwo Orun, Iba Ariwa, Iba Gusu, Iba Oba Igba Aye, Iba Orun Oke, Iba Baba, Iba Yeye, Iba Atiwo Orun, Ibashe Igungun Kiki Igungun, Ibashe Ori, Ori Inu, Ipori Atiwo Orun. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, for today's History Live, I'm going to speak a little bit briefly on the subject of truth, which in the times we live in seem to be a very noble, it's still noble characteristic to have, but it has also become something very dangerous, because we now live in a time where any person who is being truthful and sincere is perceived as being mean, as being cruel, sometimes as being deceitful, and sometimes it is even interpreted as being repulsive. But in our cosmological view, truth is one of the greatest virtues, and it is also one of the greatest remedies for many of the challenges that we face. All right, in a time when a lot of people, play politics, and they sometimes massage the truth in order not to offend anyone or to mash any toes, it has become even more difficult for people to exercise truthfulness. But this evening, I'm going to share with you what Odu Ose Otura teaches concerning truth, so you would have a clear idea what is our cosmological viewpoint on the issue of truth. Odu Ose Otura asks, what is truth? I ask, what is truth? Orunmila says, truth is the word of the Lord of heaven, who guides the earth rightly. Orunmila says, truth is the unseen one guiding the world the right way. The wisdom in that Olodumare uses great wisdom, abundant wisdom. Odu Ose Otura asks, what is truth? I ask, what is truth? Orunmila says, truth is the character of Olodumare. Truth is the word that never stumbles. Ifa is truth. Truth is the word that never spoils, a great power to all, and everlasting good. Ifa was cast for the earth. They told them to come and speak the truth. And they sang, "Speak the truth, tell the facts. Speak the truth, tell the facts. Those who speak the truth are those that are helped by the deities." All right? So know that our ancestors, the Imoles, the Orisha, and all of the divinities always, not sometimes, not occasionally, but they always support, protect, and bless with Ire those of us who always aspire to being truthful and to speaking that which is true. All right? I want to go a little further and just share a few things about some of the basic concepts of Ifa, or some of like the introductory type of lessons that I normally teach in the Fundamentals of Ifa class. All right, and for those who are interested, you would have to wait for cycle 10 because cycle 9 started yesterday. So it would be going on for another 3 weeks. So into next month, we would be beginning cycle 10. So any person who could hear my voice who's interested in learning about Ifa, it doesn't matter what is your religious belief, whether you're an atheist, whether you're a Muslim, a Christian, a Jehovah's Witness, a Buddhist, a Hindu, it does not matter. The classes, the Fundamental of Ifa is open to everyone, and the class is a virtual class and it's absolutely free. It runs only for 3 weeks each cycle. All right? Ifa is a system of divination based on 16 basic Odus. And in addition to this 16, there are also an additional 240 derivative figures, which are called Odu. They are obtained either by manipulation of 16 palm nuts called ekins, or by the toss of a chain that is called an opele, which is comprised of 8 half seed shells. The appreciation or worship of Ifa as the god of divination entails ceremonies, sacrifices, taboos, as well as the use of other paraphernalia such as drums. We use songs, also praises. There are initiations and there are other rituals. Elements comparable to those of other Yoruba cults. These are not fully treated here since, of course, the primary subject of what we're discussing is just the fundamentals of Ifa and the system of Ifa. All right, and with that, I would end those readings and I would begin to get into the history lesson. And today we're going to look at this book. We're going to do some reading from this book first, which is called Sedulence and Carpituence. As usual, I give a little background. This book is based on lectures that were given by Professor Carl C. Campbell at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. All right. The main title is Sedulence and Carpituence, and the subtitle is The Politics of the Colored Opposition in the Slave Society of Trinidad between 1783 and 1838. All right. The book is basically about the struggle of the coloreds in Trinidad, and these people would include who we today call mulattoes. They would have been a mixture of Moors and Portuguese, as well as Moors and Spaniards, and some of them that came from the French-speaking Caribbean would have been a mixture of French and African people. All right, so I'm going to read from the book. The section I'm going to read from is called Free Blacks. It is not known how many free blacks were in the colony, since they were lumped with the free coloreds in the official statistics. There is, however, a strong impressionable majority. This arises from the large influx of free colored immigrants in the late 18th century, at a time when the pre-existing slave population was small. This head start of the free coloreds, plus the likelihood of colored slaves being favored in manumission, left them with a solid position in the island. Some free blacks owned houses and lots in Port Spain, and small plots of land in the countryside. They too were entitled to land under the cedula of 1783. Among the free blacks